Alright, this is the second part of my network here at home. I said in the previous video that I've got some different servers, different machines, and this is them, or at least some of them. I have way too many sitting around running. But you can see, yeah, I know it isn't the best practice, but my 5-port switch that connects the stuff up here and the this runs down on the outside because I'm in a condo, and the way this is built, running floor to floor indoors is a royal pain. So put a hole and outside it went, sealed it up. Good news is from the outside you can pretty much not even see it's there. That's where that switch goes. The Optiplex 7040 on the right, it's got an i7 in it and a 500 gig SSD, and then a 1 terabyte spinning hard drive that I use for local backup. If I remember correctly, this one has 8 gig of RAM, but for home use, that's perfectly fine. Definitely have more than that if you're going to put it in a business. But it's running Server 2022 trial. I'm on my second and getting ready to go for the third rearm. Well, I guess that's not accurate. I went through the initial 6-month trial, rearmed it once, and we're almost to the end of that. I think Wednesday or Thursday is when I'm going to have to rearm it. Today's Sunday. But it will go for a total of 3.5 years with the available rearms and the original 180 days. So that's my domain controller. I got a couple of home workstations, both running Windows 11 that are running off of it. And it does a fantastic job here at home. Again, showing that you do not have to have expensive stuff for lab use. This is all it is an old workstation. So the one on the left is my file server. I have this, don't make fun of my monster footwear, they're warm. But I've got this IC dock hard drive enclosure. Goes where the floppy drive used to go in the older computers. And this case is from back when it still had those bays. This never had a floppy drive in it, but it does have the bays, and that was kind of handy. That's 120 gig SSD in it. I'm using Open Media Vault 5, which I thought would do a ZFS RAID. So I was going to have 2 of those SSDs in there, and they would be mirrored, and unfortunately it does not do that. So instead I just have the one SSD, and then there's 2 spinning standard desktop type 2 terabyte drives that are in a mirror, and 2 terabytes is plenty for what I'm doing. I don't even think I've used 30% of it yet. I probably will, but I haven't yet. Core i5 processor, 7th gen, I think it is. I think that one's 8th gen, but it does the trick extremely well. I've got it set to backup. You can't really see it very well, but there's a 1 terabyte USB drive there that I already had. So even though my storage area is 2 terabytes, it's currently backing up to a 1 terabyte USB drive. Like I said, I don't even think I've hit 30% of the 2 terabytes, so 1 terabyte is more than enough for a USB backup. I use the built-in USB backup functionality in Open Media Vault, and it does the trick quite nicely. So with the RAID array and the USB backup, I'm not overly concerned about losing files. Then I've got my Office printer, which is the Samsung branded, but it's a brother. Just a little monochrome laser. I've had this for 7 or 8 years, and less than a year ago I had to put in a new toner cartridge. Man, if you, anybody who's using an inkjet just really needs to reevaluate, and you need to go laser. Even if you get a color laser, they pay for themselves. They're just better in every way. The most important part of my home office is the coffee station. Black Rifle Coffee, got a little bit of Folgers over there. Man, if you're into IT work, you have to have a coffee maker. So let me move things and I'll get to my other workstations. Alright, here's some of my old stuff. There is, on the left is one that I've cannibalized. The one on the right is a computer that is, let me see here, 4 gig of RAM, 500 gig hard drive, and it has a DVD in it. It's just a workstation I use for experimenting. I don't even remember what's loaded on it at the moment, but I hook it up and I'll evaluate new distros of Linux, different server packages, all that kind of thing, and they're just great for that. It's got a 500 gig spinning hard drive in it, so it's not a rocket. It's got an i5 processor. I think it's 6th gen. It just does the trick for, you know, playing around. I mean, that's kind of what we do. This one here is a spiffy little Dell, and it's got 8 gig of RAM, an i7 processor, 500 gig, I'm pretty sure. Might be at 250. It's got an SSD, and if I remember correctly, let me look here. I think I put a spinning hard drive in it. Nope, I did not. So this one does not have a spinning hard drive in it. I like doing that for backup purposes, but I haven't done that on this because this is one of the workstations that connects to the 2022 server domain, and it does the trick quite nicely. It's all sitting on an old printer stand, and you know, stuff sitting on the carpet, and no, my cable management skills are not put into use here, so go ahead and sue me. But let's see, my iPhone, I really like this thing here. It just works really well for having my phone charged and nearby. Then we got my Windows 11 screens. Of course I like Rick and Morty. I mean, if you don't like Rick and Morty, I don't know if we can be friends. Well, we can, but I'll probably laugh. Standard Dell keyboard. Oh, these Logitech speakers right here. Man, oh, get some of these. They're USB. It gets their power and the audio from the computer through USB only. No other hookups, just a single plug. They are fantastic for office or workstation type use. They are not gaming quality, but at $14.99, I have 3 or 4 pairs of these things. They are great. If you don't have them, you should. The obligatory thumb drive sitting all over the place, an old Dell mouse. So that is my main workstation where I get to play around. Um, FreeFileSync, if you don't use it, you should try it. The real-time file sync, which is the little red one below it, that is fantastic. I have that set up on my work computer. I haven't set it up on this one quite yet, but it is well worth it. It is donationware. I thought it would say, and it doesn't, but I have the donation edition, which means that I gave them some money. And it's very, very simple to use. Basically, you add a folder pair. You can browse for what folder you want to sync. And then you go over on this other side, and my focus is not wanting to work well. But you browse to where you want to sync it to. Then you choose which way you want, and yeah, that's not the right button. That's not the right button. That's the right button. No, it's not. Wow. Where? That's the one I'm thinking of. Okay. Now that I've got it figured out, you can sync it two-way so that if you put something on one side, it will go onto the other side, whichever side that may be. Then we have the mirror, which is whatever is on the left-hand side, it will move it to the right. That is the one that I recommend for backup. But be advised, if you delete something on the folder on the left-hand side, then the folder on the right-hand side, it will also delete it. The update option can also be used for backup. My focus apparently cannot. Wow. But the update, what it will do is it will update it. Whatever is done over here is done over here. If you delete something off this side, it does not delete it over here. Look that up and be sure before you do it. Don't take my word on that one, because I don't use update, so I might have it a little bit off. And then custom is you can set some things that will mirror, some things that will update, some things that will just go two-way. Kind of a neat little doodad. Once you have this all set up, you can go over and you can save as, and that file that you save as contains all of the information you have up here, and that's when you put it into the real-time sync. Now on the real-time sync, all you have to do is you get your little file that you just saved out of FreeFileSync, and you drop it into here, and it will fill this in, and it will fill in the command line. Then you say how long you want it to wait. So after something has changed in the watched folder, it will wait that many seconds, and then it will perform, whether it's a two-way, a one-way, whichever, it will go ahead and perform its action automatically. And then you can, of course, bring it up and immediately hit start and do a manual sync. But really, really handy. I use the daylights out of it. I just installed it on this computer, but I haven't set it up yet because I plan on, backing up the critical files to the file server. So, but that's my basic workstation, and it's basic, but it works. Station. Yeah, you get it. So let me go to my other one. All right, here's my workstation area where I do most of my work stuff. Starting off, we have the coffee carafe, which you gotta have. This little USB charged, battery operated AM/FM radio, and this thing is fantastic. It also has weather band. and you can get, or is it, no, it's not, I'm sorry, I just lied to you. It's not weather band, it's shortwave. But it's nice if the power goes out, you can at least get weather reports and things along those lines. But I listen to either music or sometimes talk radio, and really, really handy. Charges, like I said, off USB. It's great. I have an older Dell monitor. Throw my email up on there, and because of the lower resolution, it makes it larger, nice and easy to read, very handy. You can see that I have another set of those Logitech speakers. And right here, this is my Chromebook. I've had it for a few years now. Absolutely love the thing. Um, Looks like the trackpad could use a little bit of a cleaning, but you know, that's because it gets used. Wireless Chrome OS Logitech keyboard. This thing is fantastic, great for typing. The times that I have my work laptop on it, which is a Windows 11 box, I have to remember that this key is the Windows key, and of course my function keys don't work as the standard F key, but whatever's on the button, since Windows recognizes that it's a Chrome OS thing, I actually have, you know, back, refresh, you know, and all the other ones, and they work just perfectly fine on a Windows box. I've got this other really nice Acer monitor. Love the resolution on that. I have my, yeah, it's dusty. Don't comment about that. But that's my dock, which connects all the peripherals so that I have just one cable to plug and unplug. I have the Cylon Raider that is being escorted by Colonial Vipers, because, you know, why would you not have one of those? That's a spare, I think it's an N Wi-Fi adapter. Use that fairly frequently. I've got like 3 of them. I actually carry one around in my pocket as I'm out. I work for an MSP, so I'm out at customer sites on a regular basis, and I have used that to do some testing on numerous occasions. But that's where all of the peripherals plug in. It can do dual monitors, so you can have 2 monitors plus the one on the laptop. And my work computer also handles USB 3, or not 3, USB-C. So this gets interchanged between my Chromebook and my work laptop. Logitech gaming mouse, and I like this because of the high DPI, and some of the computers that I remote in for work purposes, I have to kind of have a little bit of good control on them. So the gaming stuff comes in really handy. Yeah, and I have my Perdomo cigar stuff up there on the right. Don't judge me. I know you're not supposed to smoke around computers, but I have my air filter that, actually, when I showed you my printer earlier, I didn't show you that, but I'll show you that in a second. My daughter will come into my office while I'm having a cigar and really can't even tell that I'm smoking one unless she actually sees it. So the air filter does a fantastic job. And, you know, it's an office at home, so if you don't like it, then I'm okay with that. Let me show you the air filter. Sitting next to my printer and right over my servers, I have my Renfo air filter. If you have any problem with dust, allergies, or you do smoke inside, you need this. This discoloration on the wall behind it, by the way, is not from smoking. The previous person that owned this condo, and I'm not entirely sure what did that, but that's all down the wall. And I just haven't gotten around to painting it yet. But that's my air filter. Forgive the acoustics in this room, but it's got a tile floor and it makes the acoustics kind of odd sometimes. This is a absolutely ancient desk that's in the spare room, and I've got a computer set up here. Well, my nephew left his tech deck there, but this is an older refurbished Windows 10 box that I got off Amazon. Old enough that it cannot run Windows 11, but it does Windows 10 fine. And he uses that just to kind of, go online and play games and things along those lines. And if I need to do some experimenting, I can do it there. And just one of the systems I got sitting around. And the other computer that I have sitting around the house all the time is my Ubuntu box. It is actually one of these little Dell microcomputers. 8 gig of RAM, 250 gig SSD with a 1 terabyte laptop SSD, or not SSD, spinning hard drive. Also in it, I do the Linux built-in backup app, and that's what goes on to that. Got it sitting on an old TV tray with a really old keyboard. Like I'm seeing quite a few of them, I could probably stand to clean. Got another one of those Renfo air purifiers, and there is my wireless little TP-Link. I've had it for quite a while, and I'm thinking of upgrading because the port on the back of it is only 100 meg. So even though it's an N wireless access point, I still really don't get that good of traffic through it. And then there's the AT&T modem / router that the only thing that there's 2 network cables plugged into it. One goes downstairs to the pfSense box and the other goes to my TV. Other than that, everything goes through the pfSense. But yep, this is a handy dandy little machine. And let's see, there, go to settings, and I am using 8 gig of RAM, Core i5. I don't remember what generation. If this would focus, that would let you see it. There we go. It's claiming 1.1 terabyte disk capacity, but maybe I've got a 120 in it. Anything's possible. Ubuntu 22.10. This is not the LTS release, but they made some changes and I wanted to see what it was, so I went ahead and updated this one to 22.10, and I like it so much that I left it. I highly recommend 22.10. If you've got 22.04, you're still just perfectly fine. There's just some cosmetic changes and a few odds and ends that I really like, but they don't make or break the operating system. That's fairly well up to date. And then, let me see, you can also see that I have the FreeFileSync installed here. It works just the same as it does in Windows, but obviously Linux paths. Other than that, fairly basic set of software on it because most of the things that I do on this computer are just online web-based. But I've got all my remote stuff installed on it. I can do my ConnectWise Control Cloud stuff. I can do, let's see, I've got some that I connect to with TeamViewer. Obviously, it's very easy to SSH into things from this. Great little box. And these little micro-sized computers, I got another one upstairs that is not currently connected. And that one I plan on putting the specialized distro on it, and it's going to become my Pi-hole DNS server. So I may do a video on that, I'm not sure yet. Alright, and you can see my paintings in the background. My mom painted those back in, I don't know, probably mid to late 80s. And those were my birthday present one year because I always loved them so much. But Mom was a great painter. But that's my home network stuff, including my workstations, all of that. I didn't put my other laptop in it. I actually also have a different Chromebook. This is one of the tablet type ones. Has the pen that stays on it magnetically. Also charges, and this is great because I can put this, I've got a padded sleeve for it, and this can go on the motorcycle, and I can have computing on the go. So really like that one. Highly recommend them. Obviously I really like Chromebooks. You enable the Linux subsystem on them, and you can put anything from the Android App Store on them. You can also install Linux apps to them. They're great. I love them. So, there's video number 2. I was really surprised, by the way, that number 1 actually seems to have been enjoyed. I did a network tour for a friend of mine that wanted to know about my network at home. And I really put it on YouTube for no other reason than to show him what I've got, because he really was curious, and I figured that was the easiest way to do it. YouTube apparently put it public, and I'm not going to say it took off, but it did a lot better than I was expecting. I was expecting, maybe a dozen views from people that I know, and they'd watch it once and that'd be that, and, a couple months I'd take it down. I guess people like it, so I'll leave it up, maybe even make some more. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Another workstation that I use as a server that I haven't featured in anything. I have another workstation. It's another i5, 8 gig of RAM. It's got a terabyte hard drive and 120 gig SSD in it, and I use that for Proxmox. I have Proxmox installed, but I haven't even had time to make any VMs on it because I just did it very recently, and it's not even currently hooked up. So thinking of doing some other videos on like some of the monitoring software that I've got, freeware that I've seen in other people's videos and decided to give it a shot. Be interesting to do some other projects. So we'll see how everything goes, and if people actually like me standing around babbling on about stuff, and if you do, hey, I'll make more. Why not? Have a great day.